Alright, good morning. I wanted to really finish up our first minigame now to actually make it look like it's drawing and such, and then really be able to at least move on to something else so that it's working at its base level. So we've kind of got everything working now where we go in here. We still have the button sequence and the instructions. You can still choose how you want the bots to be. And then basically we've got the 4 levels now going through, and I mean, the challenging bots, they're pretty hard. So if I was actually thinking about this, yeah, the bot wins. Great. So there we go. I mean, that has been something great. The bot even says who wins. Obviously, if you win, it would save that. And now it even saves your record as well. So we'll be able to see exactly how fast you've been able to do each mini game and then save that so you can always try to beat it or something. All right, so I added in a little transition just to make it a little bit easier on your eyes when you transition out of the actual instruction screen. So you just still press start with spacebar and then yay, it fades into black. I think I'll still probably add something before that countdown starts, but for now, I think this is a great way to actually end this so I can start on another mini game. I do have an idea for another one. I think I'm gonna do one more before I really get creative and make one myself. I really want to do star catchers, which is basically like you press the button like on the screen, so you try to catch the star that like shows up randomly. So I'll do that one. Whoever has the most caught, it wins in the end. So I think I'm gonna do that one, and then I'll make one of my own actual ingenuity. All right, the next thing I wanted to add is I really wanted to add a cute little cursor. So I went online and I grabbed one from itch.io. I got like the Kenny ones. I mean, that guy does so much, or whoever does it. And so now basically I wanted it to interact with certain things. So if the player is just on regular type, so this is just leaving an empty the regular mouse look, then it goes to there. If we have a door, it'll like make a little door thing. If we have an item that we can mine, it'll show a pickaxe. And then if something that we just pick up, like some regolith or something, it'll just pick it up and do that. So this is so cute. I mean, this is great when you start to add details like this. So notice like the outdoors to the outside shows the little like in thing. So the regolith here, you don't need technically anything to mine it. So you just have that little hand. I love that. It's a little hand. Let me get in the caves so that you can look at the pickaxe one. I mean, that's cool. The little pickaxe thing. I love that. I mean, kind of fun. Even the cave, if you went down, I mean, they both show because it's both a door and stuff. So, but I love this. I love it. All right, welcome back. I am thinking that we need something in the game that actually helps the player track their progress. So, the main part of the game is to build a rocket and then get out of here. So I just want to be able for the player to be like, what do I need to do? Or what's active for me? So we're gonna have a little data pad here, I think, because you'll be like on the moon, so it's a little futuristic. And then you'll be able to track what rocket parts you have built. For the parts, I've kind of got like a launch pad and boosters, a fuselage, a nose, and need some fuel. So to be able to track that, to be like, okay, this is your main objective, like we'll probably have some pictures in there, but for now I'll probably just write in some text like, did you build this? Then we'll have a side quest tab so that if you picked up any side quests from any aliens, you'll be able to track those and get up more rewards. And then I also want to add in like mini game stats so that you can track your actual records with how fast you've beaten mini games. And then you'd be like, well, let me see if I can beat this time. And then you go and you do that. So I kind of want to keep track of those as well. Okay, so like feeling things are overwhelmed, like listing things out like to the most minute details you can is like gonna give you a much better way of getting through this. So I just want to add in the model. I want to be able to make buttons to swap between the tabs, then track what you'll be able to do when those things are active, like the side quests and the mini games. You'll press J to open it. Like I'm trying to get like as like atomic as I can, so I don't like get freaked out. And then maybe we'll probably have a text file, track the rocket pads, and then maybe even get it out with escapes. So let's see how this works out. All right. How fun is this? I don't know why this is so fun, but sometimes I'm like, holy crap, it worked. So we have 3 buttons down here, and you know, they changed the little thing up at the side here. I loved adding this little line. I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. It works. So now I actually have to add in this information. So I'll probably just have like bools for the rocket parts. Be like, did you build this? Did you build that? And then the mini games, we'll have to like list and loop through the mini games that we have, and then the side quest, we'll have to actually add in some side quests. So we'll see how this works. Also notice how cute this is in the top right. No, my camera's right in front of it. This is so cute, the little J. Woo! Okay, so here's what we've got going on. So we have the launch pad, rocket boosters, fuselage nose, fuel. For side quests, I just made, oh, we have done right now, so that's fine. And for the minigame stats, if you haven't completed the minigame yet, it's just gonna say no records. So check out what happens here. So if I go back to my base and we build the launch pad, craft. Now, if I go into J, it says yes. I'll have to make it so that when you like go to the launch area, you'll have to like place it down or something. But for right now, you know, we're tracking that. Then for the mini games, it's at 3. I gotta go outside. If I actually complete a mini game, I'll put them on challenging. Okay, let's see if I can actually do this. Oh, let's go! 6.2. Then you have that saved in here. So now 6.2 seconds, and if you beat it, it would be less than that. I'm gonna add a way probably to be like, new record, like in there versus just like checking your pad. So I'll have to add that too, but serious progress for today. I'm so happy. Oh my God. We are continuing our progress of trying to make at least one thing of every aspect of my game completed. So we've got the first mini game, we've kind of got the caves working, got basic crafting system. I now want to work on actually getting the side quest kind of working and the aliens in the game. So I want to add at least one alien, have it kind of be able to complete a quest so that you can get an object to kind of forward the game. We'll have to link this into our data pad so that we can track exactly which side quest that we have so that you would know exactly what you would need to do. And then, of course, when it gets completed, that goes away. So we have to link those up too. Plus, I think I want to make a little bit more of something cute. Instead of just me walking around as one sprite, I think I want to figure out how to make my sprite actually animate while I'm walking. It's a really interesting concept because we have this, what's called a sprite sheet, and you basically like have different rectangles that you draw each frame basically. So I have to like find the right dimensions of the sprite sheet and then basically cut it out to each one of those as I'm walking and then iterate over that in loops. So we're gonna see if we can figure that out. We'll see how it goes. All right, things are really getting rolling here. So what I've kind of just been working on right now is getting the actual aliens to kind of just spawn and work. So I created the alien type. I'm going to store them in a text file just so it's easier to change and update, and then making him interactable. But now that I've done this, I realized I'm going to have to make a dialogue system. So something to be like, you can talk with the aliens and they'll be cute. So once I do that, then I'm going to have to come back and do the second half where I add the quests onto him, and then that will be loaded into the actual dialogue system. But I kind of need that in place first before we actually do anything. So for now, I'm just interacting with these aliens, checking if your mouse is over them. And then if you click on it, for now, I just made it be the pickaxe. And it says interacting with Bob, ID 0. So, you know, if you're not close enough, it won't even interact. So I think this is pretty good. So now I'm gonna have to actually make the dialogue system so that when we do click on it, it'll be like, "Hello, who are you? Go do this for me," something like that. And this is what the text file looks like again for now. We just kind of save each of their information. I don't have a texture for them yet, so it's just some texture. I just don't save it onto the thing, but we'll put the texture on them, and then that would be how you draw it. So I think this is some good progress for today. that dialogue system feeling pretty overwhelming, which is very normal. We just got to break things down one by one and then follow it as minutely as I can. And then that's how we kind of go forward from this. Okay, so I think I've got something basic working for the actual dialogue system. So now in here, we'll actually add in the little dialogue and we can add up to 5 different lines for now. With this, I just added like one line, like, will you go do this for me? And then basically, once you go up and you interact with them, wow, it draws a little rectangle and then it pulls in that data and then it actually draws it in that little like, I was like, oh, well, yes. Will you go do this for me? So we've got somewhat of a dialogue system set up. I mean, pretty happy with that. You can also skip it with spacebar or the left mouse button, how you interact with things anyway. Not a bad thing, not bad. Right, so I somehow finally managed to work the animation actual update. So what we're basically doing is we're looking to see if the player hasn't started moving, and then we're basically going to be looking at an animation timer to be restarting. So instead of going boop, 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 boop every frame, it's like, okay, it's going to update the picture every 0.25 seconds so that we can make it slower or faster. I kind of wanted to not make it look like the fastest so that you're on the moon and you're kind of like blink, blink. So I also made it flip if you're going left, and then we're basically going through the 3 pictures and we're drawing it out. If you're not moving, otherwise you just stand kind of still. So right now I'm trying to work exactly with how I want the speeds to look directly, but it also doesn't look too bad here. So I mean, there we go. Oh, you can't see that. So it kind of doesn't draw the fastest. I could make it go faster or slower, but I think that's a pretty good speed for like how you're walking on the moon. It's like, yeah. And then if you go left, it obviously flips. And even check this out. The folder where I got my little alien or my little like astronaut here, I found a bit of an alien in it, so I drew him. How cute is that? He's so cute. Ew. Great ending for today. Good morning, everyone. One last thing I want to do before ending this video and going on to the next week is now I want to kind of get the caves to be working on the most minimum level. So we're still continuing to try to fan out everything, and I want to get the caves to work. So firstly, instead of just spawning 2 ores, the iron and aluminum, I'm also adding in silicon now and titanium, and then I want them to be on certain levels so that you have to be in a certain level and the actual spawn rate changes. So that's basically what this function does right here. When we generate our random ores, you have to be on level 15 to get iron, you have to be on level 30 to get silicon, and level 40 to get titanium. We have 50 levels total, and aluminum will spawn anywhere. So we have the actual chance of it spawning right here. We still have the 3 different types of caves, but I'm adding kind of an empty one for the last one very far down here. We have the lowest cave level now, which is just kind of spawns an empty room. I'll probably think about adding some sort of chest in there. And then I also randomized where the actual lower cave will be doing this, where the actual lower cave door will be. So instead of it just being right next to it, you're gonna have to walk through somewhat to find. Right now it's just that green door. And the last thing that I added was I actually added a little bit of a navigator in the cave. So if you've gotten down to cave level 25, but you want to go back up to level 5, then you'll be able to still do that. So right now I'm at cave level 1. You kind of go in and, we'll still do that. I have hacks because I can break the system. So let's say you got to level 6 and you're like, okay, fine, good enough. So you come back to the caves later and you can actually set like, okay, put me back to 5, put me back to 1. So that will be like that. So if we go all the way, go all the way to, let's say 46. Is there anywhere we can see? Okay, yeah. So the white is now the silicon, the blue is still aluminum, the black is the titanium, and then you would still go down like a normal level like this. 49. Okay, I'm not going over there. So here's level 50. You made it down to the bottom. There probably will be something in here as a reward. Maybe I can actually put like a rocket part in here for you to want and need. And then basically there you go. And then, whoa, you can go down to whatever cave level that you want. I think it's working pretty well. I think this is where I'm going to end this week. I do want to add in something for next week, though. We're going to flesh out a little bit more of the caves. I want to add in some enemies. I think that'd be a good way to actually make the caves a little bit more challenging and a little bit more exciting, is to add in some enemies into the caves so that you're not just like randomly walking through mining. So that'll be something I do into the next video. I hope you stick around and I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.